Before we get started, we need to hit 1K on YouTube on this channel, and then we need to get Wes to 1K on his channel. Hit the subscribe button. We're about to go into a conversation about all the Canadians here at Summer, not all the Canadians, but a lot of the Canadians here at Summer League, what we're looking for. So keep it locked here. And guys, we're not announcing anything yet, but I see a new sweater you got on there, Wes. Got
Merch coming soon.
Got the baby blue with the white, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Yeah. Enjoy this episode, guys. Peace. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Eskandy Sports Podcast. We're here in Vegas. We got the karaoke style mics here, but we're trying to get as many interviews as possible while we're here in Vegas. I'm here with Monday morning himself, Wes Brown. Wes, Vegas, day one is today. Tonight, Shaden Sharpe plays. Let's start with him, and what are you expecting out of Shaden, and what would be a good summer league showing for him?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be interesting to see the kind of role he takes on from day one. I mean, look, nobody's seen him play out of all, everyone. I mean, for the NBA scouts and all of that, right? They don't know what to expect. I mean, I have a pretty good idea of what he's capable of. But for me, it's going to be most interesting to see. I think he's shown, like, for example, when he was on the Canadian under-16 team, which I know was a long time ago, but he's capable of being efficient within the offense because of his, kind of instincts around the rim and ability to make shots and stuff like that. So I'm intrigued to see if he's going to kind of let the game come to him and play more of an efficient game, which I think might be a smart idea on day one, getting his legs back under him and everything like that. But at the same time, obviously, we know he has that, kind of star upside and shot-making ability and primary guy kind of skill set. So I'm interested to see, is he going to kind of try to take that on from day one and really impose himself on the game? Or is he going to kind of ease his way back in and, have a almost, not guaranteed, but have a really efficient style of game? Or is he going to go right away like alpha mode and go try to get buckets?
Usually summer league doesn't really mean anything to NBA teams in the big scheme of things. Like if a top pick has a bad summer league, they're just getting used to the pace. If they have a great summer league, it's also like, it's summer league. It's not the NBA yet. But for Shaden, he hasn't played a competitive game since Dream City Christian, right? So I think this means a little bit more for him because I think he can make Portland look really, really smart.
For sure.
If he turns out to have been progressing all this time in all those workouts and everything. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know how much on it. Like he might like, his skill set might be better. Yeah. But progressing, I don't think that's possible without playing.
Right.
And getting used to the speed of the game and the size and athleticism and the help defense being there earlier and bigger and everything like that. But game reps are a little different.
Yeah.
But back to your point of like how important it is. I mean, I put value in summer league, to be honest, but I think for him, like it's just about getting his legs under him. So I don't know like how much we can really take from his performance. Like if it's not great, just because he's got a steeper learning curve right now than pretty much everyone else.
So let's move on to, I was gonna say Ontario's own Indiana Pacers with we got Bennett Mathurin, we got Hardt, and we got Simmi, shittu, Indiana, and just your thoughts on the Canadians over there right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, Simi's got kind of a versatile skill set for his size. I'm hoping he can knock down a shot or two. Yeah, that will really help his stock. Yeah, because he has the size, athleticism, ability to kind of move his feet, to rebound, to even play make. Something I think that's gone overlooked, the ability to grab and go.
Well, before we move off of Simmi, just for context, because I don't know if everybody watching this year's Summer League will know who Simmi is. He was, I think, ranked very high in his high school class heading into Vanderbilt. Was that, 2018, 19, something like that? It was definitely pre-pandemic. And then that was the same year Darius Garland was on Vanderbilt as well, right? I think it was him and Garland that was supposed to be on Vandy. Garland gets hurt very early.
And he had to take on a bigger role.
He took a bigger role, declares for the draft right away. He's in the G League for 2 years, Israel last year. Can you explain more about his style of play and you were talking about how he's just a jump shot away. Most
Yeah,
likely.
I mean, like, you know, he's a 6'9", kind of 4'5", that's, you know, athletic and looks the part. And in high school, obviously at Vermont Academy, like, you see that body right away. It's like, that's an NBA player. But the shot just never came around. I mean, I've seen him work out for, you know, a few years now, you know, various times and stuff. And I think that was always the knock. You know, it's like, what's his NBA skill? Because he can kind of do a bunch of things. And if you could knock down a shot, you don't really need one because of his size, athleticism, ability to do a bit of everything. But he's got to be able to knock down an open shot.
Yeah.
And, you know, he was a highly touted guy coming out, but kind of forced his way to the draft after 1 year without kind of taking what the NBA was giving or saying.
Right.
So now it's on him to prove himself, show that chip on your shoulder, and figure out a way to get in.
And then for Matherns, we talk about recurringly. We talk about him a lot. But I want to start with Nemhard then. Me personally, I'm probably the most excited to see Nemhard in Summer League.
Yeah.
What are you looking for out of him?
I mean, he's ready from day one. Like, I expect him to kill it, to be honest. Like, out of all the Canadians, like, the word from the Pacers is that he looks spectacular. You know, he's a guy that I think, you know, anyone and all the purists really like and know that he's probably going to be a better NBA player than he was a college player.
Yeah.
Surrounded by more talent. He's a guy that gets everyone the ball, that really knows how to play. That's a wizard in the pick and roll. Great vision. Obviously shot 38%, I believe, from 3 last year. So that was kind of the knock. And like I keep saying, guys like him that are efficient and smart are succeeding more and more in the league because coaches look down their bench and think, who can I trust?
Yeah.
You know, and he's going to make the right play every time. And you know, after his performance at the Combine, where he had like 26 and 11, which is unheard of.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if you had 16 and 5, that would be an incredible game in it, you know, in an efficient manner. So 26-11, I don't know if I've ever seen a stat line like that in a Combine game. And I expect him to just carve up these defenses here, and you know, I think he's gonna look really good.
I was just so surprised that none of the contending teams in the late 20s were the ones to take a bite on him, and he's going to a situation in Indiana which is more rebuild, retool oriented, because his style game, he would fit in. In my opinion, I think he's a playoff rotation backup guard right now, which is, I mean, good for him. He should be getting minutes in Indiana, definitely during Summer League, and see how that goes.
He's going to play a lot of minutes.
I feel like we talk about him all the time, but I also feel like we don't talk about it at all. Bennett and Matherin. Explain his game and where you see him fitting in long term with this Pacers squad.
Yeah, I mean, scoring wing, kind of alpha mentality, shoots it really well, like a shot maker this past year. Just made an incredible amount of tough shots and shot good percentages from the field. You know, super athletic, can get downhill, solid playmaker, and, you know, handle, ability to create his own shot and stuff. I think those are areas that he can still improve. But the fit with him and Nemhard is perfect. Like, you have a guy who's going to set the table for you and kind of get you those easy looks that you need to then let you go off and, you know, go get your own as well. So, you know, he's a scorer that also defensively has the tools there. And I know his analytics and all that weren't great this past year, but I've seen him do it.
Right.
And I know he can move his feet, and he's tough and physical and doesn't have to play as big of a role. And now, you know, with a guy like Nemhard setting the table for you as well, it's an excellent fit, those two, because, you know, you have a guy that makes others better paired with a guy who really knows how to score from all 3 levels.
Right. And now you're going to pair that with O'Shea Brissett and
Team Canada.
And Duarte is like, he's like a half Canadian.
Yeah, we'll give it to him.
We'll give it to him. So like they got some Maple Leafs over there.
Yeah.
Around the
Shout
summer
out KJ.
around the Summer League, where else are we looking to? Caleb Houston's over in Orlando. I'll let you pick the next player that you want to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, like an obvious one, probably Primo.
Yeah.
Excited to kind of see him take a next step, consistently imposing himself on the game, probably being a primary guy for this team.
Right.
Obviously, was great when he was in the G League. Showed flashes in the league. For me, I mean, everything is about consistency. Like, what can I rely on you to do? And whether he's a 1 or a 2 or a shooter, a spot up guy or a scorer. I just think his ability to impact the game consistently should take the next step. So I'm excited to see him, do a bit of everything
Right.
and primarily, be a big scorer for the Spurs roster here in Summer League.
And Primo, youngest player in the draft last season. Still,
Uh-huh.
I don't know if he hit 20 yet. Maybe he
I think he's
just
probably
did.
19.
Yeah, so he's going to be a second-year summer league guy and still one of the youngest here.
Yeah.
So just endless upside, I would imagine.
For
Or
sure.
you can let your mind run wild.
Yeah.
Thinking about what Primo can be.
Yeah.
Long. The shot comes around. He had good stints with Austin, I think is their G League team. I think.
Yeah.
Austin. Anyways. So then let's pivot to Caleb Houstan then. He goes 30 seconds, does not work out. Or maybe he does workouts, but he doesn't do the combine.
Yeah.
Outside of, did he do any of the combine, or he didn't do the games?
I think he shut it down completely. I'm not sure he did workouts. Maybe he did
Interesting.
for Orlando, and then
Right.
they promised him, and that was it.
So we got a second mystery Canadian here. Caleb
Yeah.
obviously played last year.
Yep.
Michigan. Stats were decent,
Yeah.
but definitely not what he would have expected it to be, or what people would have expected to be heading into a year where he was another one of those top
Yeah.
10, 15.
10. Yep.
Yeah.
Heading in.
So what can Orlando fans get excited about with Caleb Houstan? What's he on his what's his best trajectory?
Yeah, I mean, the upside, he was a highly touted guy all along because he could really shoot it and stretch the floor and had good size as a shooter. But, in spurts with Team Canada, was more of a primary guy on the EYBL with bounce, was more of a primary guy, 3-level scoring mentality. But I think there's more athleticism that needs to be tapped into.
Yeah.
And I think with NBA strength and conditioning and all that, maybe get him to be a little more fluid of an athlete.
Right.
And, kind of more than just a spot up shooter, but maybe a shot maker and a guy that is a high character kid that, hopefully with more athleticism and strength and all that stuff can become more of a primary guy. But I think he's got more upside than just being a spot up guy because
Right.
he's shown it in flashes.
Yeah, so the floor is gonna be floor spacing,
Yeah.
and the ceiling is recapturing some of those stuff that made him a top pick. I
Yeah.
don't know if I've told this story before, my impression, but there was like early pandemic when it was impossible to get a gym.
Yeah, I remember.
There was all of these pro level guys from the GTA congregating at this small gym, and Caleb Houstan was there. He must have been 17, right? Early pandemic, and in my opinion, he was the best player that day, but he was playing more point guard. He was setting up guys. There was a lot of big players. I'm not saying like high level NBA players, but there were some NBA guys. There were some G League guys and whatever. So he just naturally fit into a one because he was still 17 and whatever. And I thought that was the best I've seen him play. But again, maybe that's just bias having been there. But
It's a run.
Huh?
It was just a run.
It was just a run. I know it was just a run, but it was.
If you could look, if you could see it, you could see it. It's still basketball. Like if he can make decisions, if he can see the floor,
But I haven't seen him be a decision maker like that probably since Team Canada, which also didn't go his way.
No, I mean he's never been
Yeah.
given the opportunity to be a decision maker. He was always a scorer.
Yeah. Well, that'd be something I'd be excited to see. Maybe in summer league he gets some of those reps. They had a few first round picks as well, right? So they're going to be spreading those
They got
minutes.
the top pick, yes.
Yeah. So, they had.
So but guys like that make it perfect for him.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Michigan last year; they didn't have like a primary guy, and that's where he kind of struggles. I mean, in high school, look at the guys that he played with.
Yeah.
Scotty Barnes, Cade Cunningham, guys like that. So and then Ryan Nembhard in his last year. Guys that could set the table for him and get him the looks that he needs, and then he can start to get in his bag, attacking closeouts, getting to spots, and getting downhill. And now with a guy like Paolo probably drawing double teams,
Right.
There's opportunity there for him to space the floor, and you expect him to start with those guys. So let's see what he can do.
Let's go to Canada's team, actual team, not Indiana. The Raptors. A player I know you're excited about is Abu Kigab.
Yeah.
Benton's also with the Raptors, but let's start with Kigab.
Yeah.
What can we expect out of him? Obviously, you have the video out, but let's go in a little bit more depth with it. So play style,
Yeah.
energy. What are we looking forward to here?
I mean, first of all, I think he's an NBA player. It's always about the circumstances and situation, right? So it's not something that's in my control. But he's like a 3 that is a really aggressive attacker, plays really hard on both ends, can do a bit of everything as a playmaker, as a finisher. Shot 30%. He needs to shoot better, but also was asked to be a primary scorer. But his motor and effort level, without needing touches or anything like that, are off the charts. And that's where I think he projects, right? He's not going to get touches as a scorer in the NBA, but his ability to get to the rim, to finish physically through guys, to play make and willingness to make the right play, ability to rebound. He's just tough as hell, and will do all the dirty work that a team needs. And again, when you look down the bench, you're like, damn, who can I rely on? I mean, if he can improve his ability to make an open shot, which I think that 30% probably goes closer to 35, just by the sheer fact that he's playing with NBA guys and getting better open looks. I think he's got a real shot, and I think he can make the NBA because he plays harder than almost anyone. And if you watch those last few minutes, I think it was against Memphis in the NCAA tournament, like, one thing that I always look for is, when you're tired, are you willing to like overlook it and continue to play as hard as you possibly can, or are you going to settle? And if you watch, he is gassed.
Yeah.
But every time late in the possessions, instead of settling for a shot that he might have created, or he just willed his way to the rim. So that he's looking for high percentage looks and is willing to pass up a shot that he can make to get a better shot for the team, which is a mentality that very few guys have.
Yeah, it seems like that's the Raptors mold heading into the future. Just competitors, ferociously.
Long.
Yeah, no, for sure. What about Ben? Do you see anything? What do you think of Ben's prospects heading into year 2? Because he was a second-round pick, so in a lot of ways, this is a make it or break it deal already for him. What would he have to do to be successful heading into year 2?
Yeah, I'd like to see a little more pace. It can be looked at in two ways. I think the Raptors tried to get him to play with like a fast-paced style, initiate and stuff, and get it going. But once he's making a decision off the bounce, a little more, change of speeds and reads and slowing down a little, and obviously the shot always needed some work, I think. So, but his ability to pass and see the floor was, if you remember, like his pick and roll decisions and vision and stuff when he was in the BioSteel game, for example, were excellent. I really, and as a 9 point guard, he's impressive. But it's just about refining that decision making. And kind of taking what the defense gives him, not playing too fast, and a little more pace and change of speeds and stuff like that. But he's gonna have, there's pressure on for sure to play well and show that he's taken a stride and that he can impact the game. But look, he killed it in a lot of G League games. So maybe it's just about opportunity
monster
to
lines
play
in some
through
G
mistakes.
League.
Yeah, exactly.
Really going after it. Overall, what are we looking forward to just being here in Summer League? Is there one theme that you're chasing, or is it just kind of see how the Canadians do?
Yeah, see how all the Canadians look. It's always interesting. You just never know what you're going to see. There's tons of guys that have a shot. AJ Lawson had a great camp with Dallas. Eugenio Marie got a two-way, who I love. Let's just see how these guys look in these settings. And it's always interesting because you don't know when you're seeing a guy in a new setting, the role that they're going to take on, their mentality, all of that. When you're playing with a bunch of alphas now, are you going to be the alpha? Are you able to play a role and be efficient in that role? Or are you able to be efficient as a primary guy, maybe, against this level of competition and prove that you're a real NBA player? So
it's such a difficult balance, because if you're AJ Lawson, for instance, you need to show out, you need to play well and show that you're a capable guy. But at the same time, you have to show that you're going to be able to play next to Luka.
That's exactly right.
So it's like, AJ goes to the rim 10 times a game. He's shot creating and everything like that. But Dallas wants someone that's going to be able to hit the corner three and put some pressure on the rim, get Luka. It's such an impossible balance for these guys.
No, it is. But actually, like AJ, for example, did a great job at the combine. I remember last year. Was it last year or 2 years ago? Did a bit of everything. Right. I think he had a game where he had something like 17, 6, and 6. So that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Like if he can knock down an open shot, but you also see he's able to get to the rim and make plays and stuff. But I mean, for me, I always loved the guys. You know, I 5 and 5 thing. Like if 5 rebounds, 5 assists shows me you're affecting the game all over the floor. You're willing to make plays and all that, and it's guys like that end up succeeding in the league because they are not just, you know, one facet. It's
Right.
like we can put you out there because you're not just a floor spacer, but you're also willing to make the right decisions and rebound and do the dirty work and stuff. And those are the guys that end up on the floor at the end of games.
And watch out for OKC too as well with Eugene and Murray. They're starting to stockpile their own Canadian assets over there. I think Indiana and OKC might have some little Cold War going on over there with who can get the most Canadians. And obviously the Raptors have a few as well. I think we saw the most, especially if Kigab makes the team. That's another one. But guys, thank you for watching the Eskandy Sports Podcast. This is Wes Brown. You can go find him on the Monday Morning Scouting Report, Monday Morning Scouting on YouTube, Wes B. Brown on Instagram, Wes Blair Brown on Twitter. I almost nailed it. Pretty close.
Good enough.
Good enough. Thanks, guys. Peace. I'm just gonna read